Hi everybody, I'm CactusSmasher. I'm a queer and I love horror movies. And as you can tell by the shirt that I'm wearing and the title of the video, I'm all ready. And today we're going to be reviewing Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Specifically, this is the Blue Underground 2-disc Special Edition Blu-ray, which I bought recently. Oh, now where to begin? Lucio Fulci. There's often a battle as to whether, Lucio Fulci or Dario Argento is better, and I think both have their merits. Lucio Fulci, though, I don't like to write him off as a mere copycat artist of Dario Argento. Dario Argento has a way with atmosphere and lighting and cinematography that very few filmmakers have, but for me, Lucio Fulci is just... he's a master of suspense and gore and just brutality. And what I love about a lot of his films, especially his later series, or his later films, like The Beyond, and stuff like that, is that they have this almost dreamlike sense of incoherence. They're very surreal. You can sense, and you can sense shades of that in Zombie, that he was beginning to become infatuated with this idea of using images of brutality and horror and torture to kind of shock audiences and to give them, to put them into the kind of this dream state where things didn't really make sense. And I believe that Zombie was probably the first film that he made where he really felt like he was on that, where he really got on that track. Obviously I can't claim to be an expert because I haven't seen his earlier Jolly, I haven't seen Don't Torture a Duckling, stuff like that. I really want to, I plan to. But I'm very well versed in his late 70s, early 80s period, his classic period. And Zombie, from 1979, is where that all started. Basically, the reason that it was called Zombie, well, it was called Zombie here. Need a little bit of an explanation here. It was called Zombie here in America, and it was called Zombie 2 in Italy, because in Italy, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead was released under the film, or under the title Zombie. So, Lucio Fulci's Zombie was considered to be an unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Apparently, Italians did a lot of stuff like that back then. I don't understand it, but whatever. Troll 3 has like a billion different alternate titles and whatnot. But anyway, but I think that Zombie stands in a class of its own. It's maybe not as groundbreaking as Dawn of the Dead, it's not as iconic, but there are so many things about it. The atmosphere in it, it's brutal, and what I love about it is the way that he contrasts. He has moments of almost lyrical, disturbing horror, dreamlike disturbing horror. Where, for example, there's the scene on the ship where it's just a montage of all of the rotten food and the body parts, and it's almost it gets in your skin in a way that George Romero's films don't. I love Romero's films, but when it comes to atmosphere, I mean, you can't beat Lucio Fulci when it comes to zombie movies. And, well, basically, I guess I should explain what the movie's about. It's about, it opens on a boat where you see a body in a body bag, and the body slowly sits up and starts to make a sound, and then you see a close-up of a gun, and a bullet goes right through the zombie's head. And you hear a doctor say, "The boat can leave now. Tell the crew." I love that line. So it turns out that this doctor, this scientist, is living on this tropical island called Matul, which they don't really explain where it is. I think it's somewhere in South America or whatever, but it doesn't matter. And he's working with these natives to try to cure this disease that's been going around, where by his attempts to cure it, he accidentally makes zombies that are now running rampant around this island. So what happens is, a reporter who hears stories of these zombie attacks and the scientist's daughter charter a boat to take them to the island of Matul, and they gradually figure out what's going on, and shit goes down. The plot doesn't really matter. What this movie is about, and what most of Lucio Fulci's movies are about, is atmosphere and gore. And as I stated earlier, I mean, this movie has oodles of both. It's got really creepy moments, like there's this night shot with all the zombies walking towards this cabin in the darkness, and they've got this moonlight shining on them, and it looks like something out of a nightmare, and there's so many great savage moments of gore. There's the famous scene where Olga Carlatos gets her eye gouged out by the the splinter of wood, and that for me, when I first saw that, it was one of my formative experiences as a horror fan, because I'd never seen anything like it. You know, it's not this quick, fast, you know, stab and it's over. It's this slow, torturous moment where the camera, they have this great macro shot of the very tip of the splinter as it's getting closer and closer to Olga Carlados' eye, closer and closer, and then it cuts to her face, and her face is getting closer and closer, and it's almost, it stretches out this moment to almost impossible lengths, or it's almost in slow motion. You're just kind of like waiting for it to happen, and then it happens, and it does not cut away from anything. It is brutal. And there's a lot of other great moments, iconic moments in this movie too. There's the zombie versus shark fight scene, which is great. There's the scene, the climax in the barn where they're throwing Molotov cocktails at all the zombies, and the zombies just keep coming. There's the scene where the zombies are rising out of these body bags, and it's so creepy. I mean, the thing that I love about the zombies in this movie, as opposed to the zombies in the Romero films, is that the zombies in this movie, the way that they're portrayed, the way that the actors portray them especially, is that they're almost like, they're like pieces of machinery. They kill and they eat because they have this compulsion to, you know, they're like clockwork, they're like machines that are made to just devour. And you get that in the sense that when there are zombies in the film, there's no expression on their face, there's no semblance of humanity anywhere in them. They are moving lumps of flesh, and I haven't really seen that in another zombie movie done as efficiently and as well as this. And yeah, you know, of course, it has some pacing problems, as most Italian horror does. There's a lot of comedy bits that don't fit in well with the rest of the movie, but you know, when the movie is on, it's on. It's shot in gorgeous widescreen cinematography by Sergio Salvati, who's one of my favorite cinematographers. It's got these bright, vivid colors, especially when they're filming on the island, these vivid greens and blues. It's got incredible atmosphere, and if you're a horror fan and you haven't seen this, you need to, like, write this down on your list, checkmark it, whatever, because it's, in my opinion, it's a classic. Now, this copy that I have, this is the Blue Underground 2-disc special edition Blu-ray. I used to have the Blue Underground DVD, which I sold on, unfortunately, so I can't show it to you. But this Blu-ray is pretty fucking amazing. It's got 2 discs of special features, and the transfer is beautiful. The colors just pop. The grain is gorgeous. It's amazing. I've heard that the Arrowhead release is slightly better quality, but I haven't seen that, so I can't speak for that. But this is a great purchase if you're a fan of zombie. This is the transfer is beautiful, and the special features are amazing. It's got audio commentary by Ian McCulloch, who played what was that guy's name? The reporter, Peter something. It's got trailers, TV spots, and disc 2 is the real meat of the thing, where they've got interviews with everybody. They've got interviews with all of the surviving actors. They've got interviews with Fabio Frizzi, who composed the score. They've got interviews with who else? They've got interviews with the special effects artists Gianetto De Rossi and Gino De Rossi and Maurizio Trani. They've got an interview with Lucio Fulci's daughter, Antonella Fulci. And what I thought was really surprising, and it was a really welcome surprise on this release, was a 10-minute featurette, a sort of interview by Guillermo del Toro, where he talks about his love for the movie and what kind of influence it had on him as a filmmaker, and it's fascinating. I mean, Guillermo del Toro is one of those filmmakers where I could just listen to him talk for hours, and he has a lot of things to say about the film that I'd never thought about before. For example, like how it's cyclical. It begins in New York and it ends in New York, and by the time it gets to the ending in New York, you've completely forgotten that there is a zombie that fell in the waters in New York. So it's this great interview, and he's so insightful, and he's so charismatic and interesting to listen to. It makes you wish that he was there by your side so you could watch the movie with him. I believe I picked this up for about $25, but you probably will be able to find it cheaper. But if you are a Lucio Fulci fan, if you're a zombie film fan, if you're a horror film fan, and you haven't seen this, you need to get this. This is absolutely highly recommended. I love it. It's amazing. It's great. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and this is probably the best release that it'll ever get. Not just because of the transfer, but the special features. It is packed to the brim with special features. Alright, that's my review of Zombie, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. If you like this, leave a comment and let me know, and I definitely plan to do more of these in the future. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.